Weartesters.com, Duke4005, back with another review. This time, I finally get the Brandblack J.Crossover 2 on court and on camera. I've only got a little bit of time. Y'all can see behind me. We're in torrential downpour floods here in North Texas. I think we've gotten about 450 inches of rain here since last Monday. So I've got a little break in the weather right now. I thought I'd come out and get this done and get it to you. So let's get to it and go over the details of the J.Crossover.
Okay, first thing we're going to go over, like always, is materials. And by now you've probably read about this shoe. It's been pretty popular on all the message boards about people trying to find pairs. So I won't get in too much to it, but I will tell you it's what is called a flat knit weave. And it goes from right here at the beginning of the midfoot all the way around the forefoot. The midfoot is a little tighter, and as you can see, these woven parts are a little tighter right here for support. A little bit right here on the lateral side where you're going to be pushing off. The front part is very, very soft, very, I won't say flimsy because it is tight. It does keep your foot in, and they haven't torn up yet, but it's just very malleable, very pliable, very flexible, and it really makes the shoe one of the most comfortable basketball shoes I've ever worn on my feet, ever in my life. It's almost to the point of being too comfortable, but I'll get into that later when we get into the fit. The back part is leather, or a really good synthetic leather. But I mean, if it is synthetic, it feels exactly like leather should, and that really works to keep your heel locked in, keep your foot solid, and just adds a little touch of luxury to the back end of it. The tongue, as you can see, you've got your perforations here, which, I mean, the breathability on this shoe is unbelievable. It's almost like a running shoe. So you've got your padded tongue with these hex pads here, and then you've got the upper part of the tongue. You can see it's really, really thin, but it's really, really a dense padding, and the lace pressure is just non-existent. You've got these fat, old-style laces that come across that give no pressure, and then with the dense padding here in the tongue, it wraps around your ankle and just gives you no lace pressure whatsoever. The ankle is lined. Get those out of the way. The ankle is lined with almost like a Nike Pro Combat padding, and it really works to keep the heel locked in, keep any slippage down. Gives us a little bit of extra thick padding around that ankle for extra comfort. Okay, next up we'll get into fit. And first of all, again, I ordered a 10.5. That's what I wear in everything, just about. There's some random shoes out there that I'm a little bit off on, but 10.5 for the most part on basketball shoes, and I'm good to go. 10.5 on these lengthwise was great. I could have went down a half a size and maybe wore a 10. After I played in them for a little while, I realized that was probably a better option, as I had a little bit of problem dialing my fit in here in the midfoot. Sorry about that, Weartesters. Had a little Mrs. Duke 4005 interruption. Seems my neighbor forgot to pay some bills and they're trying to hook up his truck, but get this, the wrecker for the repo got stuck in the mud, so now the wrecker has to call a wrecker. Go figure. But anyway, we'll get back to the fit. We've got the tighter woven right here on the lateral side and around the midfoot and around the laces. That's going to give you a little bit more support. It's going to help the shoe be a little bit stronger in those areas. And the forefoot here is just, it had a lot of dead space with the size 10.5. I ended up having a double sock. I wore an Elite sock and then a no-show sock over it, and it took up the dead space very nice. After I did that, I had no complaints at all whatsoever about the fit. The heel is extremely locked in. The midfoot is locked in. Just like I say, if you can go a half size down if you're wondering, and I know these colors are selling out, so you may have a question about that, not wanting to order too big. True to size, half size down, you should be good. All right, we'll roll from the fit to the traction. Once again, Brandblack has come back with the blue bottoms this year. I don't think they're putting on every model of the J.Crossover 2 like they did last year, but again, it's a really unique pattern, and it's called wiper blade or wiper pattern. I can't remember which, but it's made to perform just like windshield wipers, which is really what normal herringbone does. And you can hear it. It's very pliable and it's very durable so far. I've worn these outdoors and in. I wouldn't suggest a long wear outdoors, but if you're stuck somewhere and these are the shoes you have, you'll be good to go for a couple of games. It's really surprising. Again, last year the whole Brandblack line had great traction with the star pattern, and this year they go with this, and I never slipped one time. I have read some reviews of guys slipping on court, but as far as I'm concerned, this is top 3 or 4 traction for this year. They stuck on everything I played in, whether it was my dusty, dirty 24 court or my super clean old high school court that I go to, and they did not let me down one time. All right, we'll move up from the traction now to the cushion, right up the midsole, and the cushion is straight up Jetlon. If y'all haven't tried it last year, you don't know what you're missing. If you've tried it already, it's more of the same from last year. It's very, very bouncy, very responsive. First step in is really, really soft, and I'll show you why in just a minute. But it rides, it's more like a, it feels like a Micro G boost combination. Now that may be overselling it a little bit, but whereas a Micro G rides low and absorbs your impact, and then your boost, you get your feedback, but it rides a little higher. This is a really good combination of both of those sensations. You've got a low riding, I mean, here's where your foot sits, but you're still really responsive and really bouncy. Now, I did feel like the composition this year is a little softer than what we got last year. It felt like it had a little bit more mush to it, and I'll get into that with the inner. If I can get that on camera there. That is just basically a foam pad on top of your last, and when you step in, it gives you great step-in comfort, but it makes the shoe feel really, really soft. One area I did have some problems with was around the edges of the heel, where you can see this is built almost like a crash pad. On a couple of turns or coming off picks, coming around for jumpers and plant the way I plant, you plant your heel and then turn into it off of your heel. I did feel some collapsing, some instability a little bit here around the edges, where maybe the Jetlon was a little too soft. It might be something, but I don't get it, because this is a denser, harder material than what you get in the back. So it should be really, really soft and really, really stable and balancing. But it did feel like it gave away just a little bit. Now, as far as support on this year's shoe, most of your heel support is going to come from this leather collar, which is not a bad thing. It's still pretty flexible. There's no real heel cup. Your support from the heel stops right here. The rest of it, you can see, just really, really gives. And that helps with your mobility, but the leather is still stiff enough that it gives you a sense of support where you don't feel like you're running around in soccer shoes. And then the midfoot is supported by this TPU piece in the middle, which is really stiff, but it just covers from here to here. And so that really helps with your transition. You don't get that slappy feel where the shoe feels like it's one big brick on the bottom of your foot. It's almost like the old Adidas torsion pieces. It lets the shoe bend right where it should bend and not where it shouldn't. So you've got a lot of flexibility. Couple that with the really flexible forefoot, and you've got great transition out of this shoe. The support from the lacing system, of course, is all you're going to get on the upper. There's no overlays, there's no Velcro straps or anything to hold your foot over, and that is one place where I felt they could have made a riser a little bit from this midsole and brought it up into here, maybe held my foot over a little bit, but very, very minor complaint. That's if I'm looking for something wrong with this shoe, that's the one thing I could go with. Now, a category that I usually talk about but I don't rank is transition, and that is where this shoe shines extremely, extremely bright. Like we said, the torsion piece stops here, so the foot really has a lot of flexibility. The materials let the foot flex but still keep you solid here. And once you get the fit dialed in, there's really the sensation of wearing just a padded sock. I know some other companies have tried. There was some success this year with some woven materials, but if you want a running shoe feel while you're on the court, this is the shoe. It's smooth from front to back as you're driving, as you're backpedaling on defense, transitioning from defense to offense after a steal, or vice versa if you turn the ball over. I don't turn the ball over, so that's something y'all have to worry about. But it's just really smooth and really, really tight. Cornering, it sounds funny, I'm talking about a car, I'm talking about a shoe, but the cornering, the cushioning, the grip, the traction, it's really just a smooth shoe to play in.
So there you have it, Duke's review of the JC2. Brandblack, I could not be more impressed with the direction this company is going. They started off last year with an extremely big bang. They brought things to the table that haven't been seen in a while. Leather uppers, a luxurious lifestyle look to a performance shoe, something that I think most companies are really trying to still dial in that have been around for 25, 30, 50 years, and they still haven't found the right combination. It's surprising and shocking to me, but I guess it shouldn't be with the background and the history that Brandblack has. This is easily one of my most anticipated shoes of 2015. Ever since I talked to the Brandblack guys last year when we were in Austin for a 3-on-3 tournament, and we talked about the uppers, we talked about the materials they were going to come out with, and I could not wait. This, the Jordan 29, and the Rose 5 Boost were the 3 shoes that I could not wait to get on court this year. I've been lucky enough to get all 3 of them on court, and I will say this ranks right there with the other 2. But it's for the price. I mean, you've got a woven material, which other companies are easily charging, 1.5 times what Brandblack is charging. You've got the luxury of leather on the back. The cushioning is great. The traction is fantastic for me, at least. I'm very impressed with Brandblack. I can't wait to see what they bring out for the 3. I already know a little bit about it, but I can't really go into details here. Just surmise to say it's a great evolution. You will not be surprised to see a company like Brandblack coming with a product like that. I've got to get out of here because we're about to get rain or tornadoes or whatever the hell is coming behind this storm. You can see it behind me. It's cloudy. So anyways, you're looking for great cushioning, great traction on most surfaces, great materials, and a almost great fit with a half size down. Look no further than Brandblack. They are really on the rise, and they're really a brand to watch. Till next time, Weartesters, Duke 4005 out.